1, a 2, a 1.
It's time for the Better Horses Radio Show. So let's saddle up and ride as we explore the Western way of life, horses and cows, family and friends, a relationship with the land, and a relationship with God. It's all here on Better Horses Radio. Now let's hit the trails with the Better Horses team.
Welcome to Better Horses Radio. I'm Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And we are your hosts that are going to be bringing you all this equine information. Merle, another week talking just about horses.
Man, we got a great show in store. I can't wait to get into it. But
you
were kind of out ranching around a little bit, weren't you, this week?
I was. I've got a lot I'm practicing on. There's a Cowboy Challenge that's coming out in the Flint Hills. That's kind of an invitational, and never been able to get first. And this is going to be my fourth year. So we're going to try it again. I got a new horse, and we'll see exactly how far we can get there.
Oh, really? What all do you have to do?
So it's 4 days. So we do a little bit of everything. We do sorting, roping, we're jumping, we're doing obstacles, we're shooting our guns. Everything that you can do in a ranch at the Flint Hills, they're going to be thinking of it. And special thanks go to Matt Job and Rex Buckman out there who's putting this program together. They do a lot of thought processes, and they put our horses through the grill along with the riders. So we're excited about having them. And just as excited as this show we got coming up, in our first segment, we've got Dr. Dylan Luter from Kansas State University Veterinary and Health Center. Hey, Merle, we're going to talk all about back pain and everything to be looking for in a horse.
That's going to be a really neat segment. And you're also not going to want to miss, we're going to visit with Jim Mueller, too. And he's going to talk about the best in the Midwest and the sale. And then he's going to talk, I think, about that ranching. Was it Ranching Legends?
Yeah, Ranching Legends. Yep. And the Best of the Midwest Quarter Horse Sale that's coming up on September 13th. And, a guy that we really enjoy talking to, we've had him on our show before, Gerald Jackson. He's an equine manager there over at Terry Bradshaw Quarter Horses, and he has an extension of experience and education when it comes to breeding. He's also been a judge and a trainer. And Gerald has been just a plethora of information coming on board.
Yeah, Gerald and Kate are great people. And you might see them occasionally on our TV show, too.
Before we get started, I wanted to throw it over and let's get a cattle market update with Mark Alfold. Mark?
Well, and we take a look at better cattle here on these last days of August, heading to, of course, the Labor Day and into September. Last Friday's Cattle on Feed report really didn't help either buyers or sellers of live cattle or feeder cattle in our view. We do see a little more pressure on futures here with that placement figure up 6%. When the average estimate was going to be, was up 3%. October futures, our focus here now. October live cattle, we look for support above the 173 longer term here. If not, the 171.5 might be visited here once again. As far as feeder cattle are concerned, October feeders, we would hope that 230 level would be pretty solid support. We've been below that. And we could have a chance to visit that 228 levels would be lows for the year, taking us back to December last year. Fed Chairman Powell said all the right things and helped Wall Street here late weekend, early on here, their symposium in Wyoming. He said, quote, "The time has come for policy to adjust." Those words rang across Wall Street as exactly the words that traders on Wall Street wanted to hear. He went on to say that, quote, "The direction of travel is clear, and the timing and pace of rate cuts will depend on incoming data and the evolving outlook, the balance of risk," he says. So my confidence has grown that inflation is on a sustainable path back to 2%. So we'll continue to watch for that. By the way, the next Fed meeting is September 17th and 18th. Pretty certain there'll be rate cuts. He's more or less almost guaranteeing that here with these comments. The question that we're going to hear a lot more and read a lot more about is, are we going to have a 25 basis point cut, or are they going to get aggressive right off the bat with a 50-point basis cut? Most agree that there'll be 50, at least 50 to not, if not 100, a 1 full percent rate cut before we celebrate New Year. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Winding things up here, there are going to be a lot of better cattle at state fairs that are still going on. Indeed, Colorado goes on through Labor Day, Minnesota as well. Nebraska, big cattle country out there. They are in Grand Island, Nebraska. They go through Labor Day, but South Dakota as well. And there are others that late summer and early fall, I guess you'd say, that, and one of those interesting, Alaska. You would think Alaska might have theirs in June or July. They're the longest days of the year and warmest, perhaps. But no, September is the date, or late August and early September, Alaska State Fair going on through this Labor Day weekend as well. South Dakota, I think I mentioned that. New York and Oregon are the other two states that have state fairs still going on, and right on through this Labor Day coming up. So that'll do it for us. Everybody, thanks for tuning in here. And again, Ed, thanks for allowing me to be part of this each and every week. I certainly enjoy it. And as we say, we wish you and all a profitable week ahead.
And Mark, we appreciate all that cattle market update. You know, it is important that we keep updated that on every week. A lot of our viewers and our listening audience enjoys cattle and horses at the same time, but I wouldn't do us justice, Merle, if we didn't stop for just a minute and get our horse tip of the week with our very own Susie Arbo.
Hi, everyone. It's Susie Arbo with your Better Horses Horse Tip of the Week. Today, I want to talk about the importance of consistent groundwork with your horse. Groundwork isn't just for young or green horses. It's essential for maintaining a strong foundation in horses of all ages. One of the key benefits of regular groundwork is building trust and respect between you and your horse. Simple exercises like leading, backing up, and yielding to pressure can reinforce your horse's responsiveness and manners, which translates to better behavior under saddle. A great exercise to incorporate is the hind quarter yield. So stand at your horse's shoulder, apply gentle pressure to their side, and ask them to pivot their hindquarters away from you. This move helps you improve your horse's body control and teaches them to be more attentive to your cues. Remember, consistency is key. Spending even just 10 to 15 minutes a day on groundwork can make a significant difference in your horse's attitude and performance. Plus, it's a great way to establish and strengthen your bond. Thanks for tuning in to this week's tip. Keep up the great work and the groundwork. And as always, happy riding.
Okay, so that should set us up for the nice, great show. I want everybody to stay with us as we hear more about the equine industry, more education and information. I'm your host, Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And we'll be right back right after these messages.
Get quality you can stand on. Hoof Grip is the proprietary formula that provides shock absorption for your animals with no ice buildup, slipping, cracking, or sogginess, making it the safest, most comfortable, and maintenance-free flooring on the market. Hoof Grip installs quickly and easily over existing surfaces, is easy to clean, and withstands extreme heat or cold. From vet offices to barns, wash racks to trailers and more. Visit hoofgrip.com to find a dealer in your area today.
We're here for the hardworking, the resilient. We're for the people who measure their days by what needs to get done, not by hours. Where kids learn responsibility at a young age and generations work side by side. Where work doesn't pause for holidays or bad weather. It just gets harder. Where value and hard work means more than the clothes you wear. We're Kleinschmidt's Western Store, Higginsville, Missouri.
Routine dental examination and treatments are essential for high-quality horse care. To prevent potential problems, a horse's mouth should be examined at least once a year. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins, Equine Field Service Veterinarian at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center. We can examine the mouth and provide a treatment plan to meet the needs of each client and their horse. Visit us at ksvhc.org, the Veterinary Health Center, to discover, to teach, to heal.
Hi, I'm Tommy with Heritage Tractor. Whether you're looking to maintain your yard or your whole ranching operation, Heritage Tractor has John Deere mower and tractor packages that make work fly by. With a variety of horsepower and attachment configurations, we have a package to best fit your needs and budget. To learn more about these exclusive packages, visit us in store or online at heritagetractor.com.
Legendary products, extraordinary service, that's our heritage.
Welcome back to Better Horses. I'm your host, Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And Merle, this is one of these segments that I like, that we always talk about, information, but this is going to be educational. So we've reached down deep into the high brain power of the Midwest, and we're going all the way to Kansas State University Veterinary and Health Center. And Dr. Dylan Luter is going to be coming on board, and I'm excited about this. Now, he's a specialist in equine performance medicine, and we get to talk about a lot of topics here and literally get into some deep dives about care and custody of horses. But first, let us welcome Dr. Luter. Thank you for joining Better Horses.
Well, thanks for having me.
We have talked about Kansas State University College veterinary medicine, for years now. But just as an overall high level, the university's really stepped up their game when it comes to equine veterinary medicine.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been here for about 10 years, and in that time frame, I think we could measure several different milestones that we've hit. But it really, equine medicine, equine care, equine surgery, everything has really become an important focus for us. And there is a huge need for good equine veterinarians out there. And that's part of our goal too, is to produce some of the best ones in the world. So,
we want to thank you for all the Kansas State University health tips that you provide. But Dr. Luter, just so we get our audience kind of like grappled around your specialty, your interest is in difficult lameness cases in sports medicine. We know that, but also physical therapy, wound management, and also equine surgery and treatment of surgical site infections and laparoscopic surgery. Let's talk about back pain, since this is something that we all talk about, especially when we get into riding our horses and we're seeing some sensitivities. Can you walk us through some of the things that we need to look out for and some of the things that you're seeing out there that we possibly could correct?
Yeah, back pain, I think, is a really timely topic to talk about. It's becoming more and more recognized, if not more and more prevalent. I feel like multiple times a week we're fielding calls and seeing cases for horses presenting either with outright pain, where you feel their back and they wince, or maybe even try to kick at you, or horses that, I think the most common thing we hear is horses that will be cinchy and will go to bucking and then exhibit back pain, or some sort of avoidance behavior like that. But even a little bit more nondescript symptoms, like just not wanting to round up or collect, or not wanting to turn a barrel as much, things like that, those can all manifest as back pain. So it can be either very specific or nondescript.
I think one of the things that Merle and I were talking about is trying to decipher the back pain. Is this my saddle? Is this my blanket? Is this the horse having kissing spinal disease, something like that? What's the first things we can do as owners of horses is trying to decipher that?
Yeah, I think you're thinking about your saddle and your pad is a good place to fit, or a good place to start, excuse me. And either talking with your veterinarian and having them feel it, or a saddle fitter, or just yourself feeling underneath the saddle, with or without the pad on there for tight spots or anything that doesn't sit right. And then I think probably going to someone who is comfortable looking at back pain, working with your veterinarian to, one, let them examine the horse and see if they can narrow in on where the pain is, but two, bring your saddle with them, or bring whatever it is that causes them to exhibit what you're seeing, so that we can maybe recreate it, and that can help us narrow in a little bit. Those are probably the biggest two things that, as you've already know and probably already said, that back pain can be hard to narrow in on, and there's several other things that could look like back pain that it could be elsewhere. So you got to try to sort that out.
And you bring up a really interesting point, is that sometimes or at least in the training deal, I see some horses that aren't quite, lame per se, but they're not quite right. And it's just kind of a nagging deal. And you go through all the legs and there's nothing there. What, is there any kind of particular breeds or activities or conditions that would maybe predispose a horse to back issues?
Oh, that's a great question. I think if you'd have asked me 10 years ago or 15 years ago, I would have said, oh, you hear about it way more prevalently in the English type disciplines, but I don't think that's the case anymore. And I think any sort of performance horse that is asked to engage their core musculature, their hind end, and perform highly athletic moves can develop these sorts of problems. And there's been a number of studies that are trying to look into, like, why are we seeing these things more and more frequently, even going so deep as looking at is there a genetic predisposition in certain horses that have it? And I don't think there's any clear enough answers that I would go on record and say that this is causing this or not yet. But we're certainly trying to sort it out a little bit and decide, is this a problem that's been here for all along, and we're just watching our horses more carefully, or is this something that's developing because of how we're training them, how we're riding them, even asking them to, even like the lower level shows are not so low level anymore. We're asking horses to push the limits even then. So
I think one of the things that we're doing really well is trying to be very preventive. Your thoughts on chiropractic care, and your thoughts if you're really utilizing your horse, even though you're an amateur or a professional, how often should you be utilizing this, and your thoughts on the chiropractic care out there?
Yeah, I really appreciate you asked that question. I am a little biased because I am certified in animal chiropractic, even though I'm a veterinarian. And so I do have a very favorable opinion of it. It's been a very useful tool in my hands. I think that one thing that I've noticed is chiropractic care in and of itself is not a replacement for treating an injury. So if your horse is lame or it actually has an injury, you need to work both with veterinarian and a certified animal chiropractor if you choose to pursue that hand in hand. But where chiropractic really becomes helpful is just like Merle was saying, there's a lot of horses that present just with this sense of unease, and they're just not wanting to move or not wanting to collect or whatever the symptom is. And I see a lot of horses respond to chiropractic care that have that. And really at its essence, what chiropractic adjustment is it's freeing any restrictions in the spine, allowing that spine to move and function as normally as it can. And then if there's been any nervous system impingements that may be causing a problem or pain in the horse, that chiropractic adjustment will relieve that impingement. So I sort of went on a little bit of a ramble there, but that's kind of where some initial thoughts on chiropractic.
And Dr. Luter, are there any, you're kind of right there at the forefront of, treatment and advancement. Are there any, advancements or emergent treatments coming out that are really effective for back pain in horses?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is we're learning more and more how to use a lot of therapies that have been around for a little bit of time. Things like therapeutic laser, things like pulsed electromagnetic therapy, PEMF, or PEMF as some people call it, and shockwave, and we're learning how to use those therapies to the best of their ability and how they actually work. That, as well as the traditional medical therapies like injections if they're needed, and then also kind of working along with that, more physical therapies like strengthening of the core, range of motion therapies, things like that. So really, really getting into the true sports medicine, physical therapy aspect of things, rather than what historically we had is, more of a medical specialist and the veterinarian trying to manage it all.
If you are just joining us, we are talking to Dr. Dylan Luter with the Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center. He specializes in equine performance medicine. And, we haven't really got into it, but before we go, let's talk about surgery for just a minute. And that really hard discussion of whether or not it's worth doing surgery, not doing surgery, especially if you're with a professional or an amateur, your thought process on that, on some of the risk of surgery and some of the things that we should consider before we go into that.
So I am a board certified surgeon, so I take these cases from beginning to end with all my training. And I have some clients, because of the risk to the rider, if a horse is bucking violently, will want to pursue surgery very quickly in the course of treatment. And I have other clients that I've managed successfully that, that we want to keep the horse in performance and as comfortable as possible and not take them out with surgery. So you got to both ends of the spectrum, but I think probably the number one thing that I consider is, the risk of surgery to the horse, because always whenever you lay the scalpel to the skin, you're creating a wound there that you have to heal. And so if we're able to care for the horse in the aftercare and give the horse time is the number one. And then I think the number two thing that you have to consider is surgery itself does not fix the problem. You still need to go through the physical therapy steps. You still need to try to manage that horse's pain after surgery. But what surgery does is it relieves, talking specifically about kissing spine here, I guess I didn't clarify that a second ago, but is it relieves the immediate pain and allows the rest of your therapies to go in and be effective.
That's amazing. With everything that we have to consider, those are some of the big decisions you have to have when you're owning a horse. We've been talking to Dr. Dylan Luter at the Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center. Dr. Luter, I want to thank you for joining us. I look forward to a lot of these conversations every time we get on board. I think, Merle, we should have scheduled an hour with Dr. Luter. I mean, we are not doing you justice, but you are very informative specialist in equine performance medicine and surgery, large animal emergency clinician also, and a professor. Dr. Luter, before you go, can you tell everybody how to get in touch and with the Kansas State University and, more importantly, the Veterinary Health Center?
Yeah, so you can call the main large animal reception desk at 785-532-5700. And they just, if you want to have a question for me, just ask for me. They'll get you in contact.
And there you go. All right, I want everybody to stick around. We have more Better Horses coming your way. I'm Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And we'll be right back right after these messages. Welcome back again with Better Horses. We are so glad you stayed with us because, as promised, we're going to have a great show coming your way. And now we get to really deep dive into a breeding program. I'm Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And this segment is brought to you by the John Deere dealers and, more importantly, Heritage Tractor, located in Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas. So if you got a shop or you got to find farm equipment, construction equipment, or lawn and garden needs, go to heritagetractor.com. Hey, Merle, this is going to be pretty exciting. We got Gerald Jackson. He's the equine manager at Terry Bradshaw Quarter Horses. And I got to tell you, I didn't realize he's a judge, he's a breeder, he's a trainer. I mean, he's a true modern horseman out there, and we are just thrilled to have him with a Bachelor of Science degree in equine studies. He's got all the reproductive information with hands-on experience. Merle, I'm just thrilled to have him.
Yeah, he's a good friend and looking forward to talking to Gerald.
So with no more ado, Gerald, thank you for joining Better Horses.
Well, thank you. First of all, I want to say thank y'all for having me on the show and throw the questions out.
All right. Well, I'm always curious because I know you're always busy and you've got a big sale coming up. And can you give us a little insight on what you're doing to prepare for this sale?
When we decided we'd have our sale, we started our routine on the horses about 120 days ago with the feed, vaccination, worming, prepping them, and then we drew a timeline out on a board for everyone that works here that this is what needed to be done by this day for spraying fence rows, doing grass, growing grass, washing stalls, painting, touching up, just all the things that you don't think have to be done is what we have to do. And we made a timeline on a board and said, all right, this has to be done. And today we're at 39 days until sale day.
You know, Gerald, we're talking about halter horses that are really top of the class here, and working with Terry Bradshaw and Terry Bradshaw Quarter Horses. You guys have done a tremendous job training and showing the operations around the country, but you've also have a very long experience line of doing this. Can you talk to us about your breeding program and about the bloodlines that you guys are concentrating on?
Well, Terry started this years ago with an idea or a concept and what he wanted to try to produce. And then it's basically when I took over the equine operation, we molded his idea into a philosophy, and we went to trying to cross the right crosses. We have to both cross on what we know that's going to be marketability, and then we also cross on what we want to try to produce and raise for our own next prospect.
And with that said, you guys have moved from Oklahoma to Texas. You've been doing this for over 25 years, so you have a lot of generational information going down there. Can you talk about your new location and where it's going to be held?
We are currently residing in St. Joe, Texas. We purchased this property, I guess, about two and a half to 3 years ago, and we've been here for right at a year. We basically took our existing operation and made some very skilled tweaks to the stallion barn, the mare barn, and the show barn. Put an operation together. We're going to downsize our herd so we can concentrate on the breeding program that Terry and Tammy want to see the future with.
Well, and Gerald, I know you know all the horses very well. Is there a standout or something you're excited to see sell that you think maybe would be a sale topper?
Oh goodness, that's the challenge of the sale is we know we have to put good product in that sale, both as open mares that were in our private flesh herd that we've been very successful with, our mares in foal. And that's been hard. There's probably 10 to 15 mares that I'm not going to really want to get rid of. But in the same token, the next stage of that question would be, well, why are you putting them in there? The best way, our best marketing tool is to sell these mares, get those mares in somebody else's possession and let them have that baby so they can see our production and how we're breeding these horses. And then they can come back and say, hey, we like what we did. Can we buy a stud feed of this stud?
You know, when we're talking about the breeding program, and since I have you online, I've always wanted to ask you this question. The concentration of stallions has always been the key mark of all the breeding programs, but I think that's slowly changing. Is the mares becoming more of the concentration when you're going into your breeding programs? Has that always been, or has that never changed?
Well, the old school mentality is you have to have a great stud mare. Most of the people think that I'd say 75% of everything comes from the mare, but it really doesn't work that way. In our operation, we're focused on Very Cool, Tell a Secret, and our young and upcoming stub, Speechless. And then we have a new one coming into the program that we bred and raised here at the farm. That's the TB Mr. Hollywood, be a 2-year-old going into 3-year-old year. So, you know, you have to have just because you cross two great individuals don't mean you're going to have a great individual, but it's sure a good place to start.
Well, and Gerald, the really neat thing I think that, you know, you and Terry and Tammy and Kate, everybody down there has done is they've really put the horses in the people's hands, you know, and it's not just an elite deal. Like they make it accessible. I appreciate, you know, the reasonable stud fees, the fact he's doing a sale. You know, a lot of guys would want to keep, just like you say, keep those mares back for themselves. But he's like, no, he said, this is a good mare, take it and try it. But also, yeah, can you tell us, I know you'll help support after the sale, but do you offer any post-purchase services or advice to help the new owners?
Absolutely. You know, we've put in the catalog anything that our recommendations are for the mare. We recommend her be on Regulate. We have one mare going through the sale that doesn't like vaccination shots. We denote all that. We're always happy to help anybody and everyone. We'll have a farrier on hand on sale day. We will have a vet on hand during the sale day. And we encourage each and every person that comes to the sale and our online to look at the horse, make sure that's the right horse, and have a goal when you come to the sale so you know what your goals are. My philosophy, Terry's philosophy, Kate's, Tammy's is everybody can sell one horse. That's easy. But we need that repeat customer. We need that person to say, hey, I had a good experience. I want to go back. The last time we had our sale and we sold our mare packages, mares in foal, we saw almost a third of those people come back and be first-time breeders into our program, repeat customers. That's where the industry needs to go because we have to support our product. If we don't support it, why should anyone else?
Great point.
And if you're just joining us, we're talking to Gerald Jackson, equine manager there at the Terry Bradshaw Quarter Horses. And if you want to get more information or see exactly the website, you can go to terrybradshawqh.com. And these are top halter horses and breeding and trading and showing operations all around the country. You not only sell horses, but you also offer breeding programs so that they can bring their mares in. Gerald, how does that work, and how do they select their proper stallions and studs, and how do you coach that way?
Some people have an idea how they want to cross their mares. We stand all our stallions that we stand, they stand for $1,000, unless we decide to do a first time breeder option in December, but they're all at $1,000. Everything, all the other fees are the same. No matter what happens, $1,000 is where you start. The goal there is to put that first time breeder into the business and then not be upside down when they have that baby on the ground. You have to start right to finish right. Some people call with recommendations, and we can tell them, or ask for recommendations, and we can tell them what's worked best for us and what genetics work best for us. I like a lot of phenotypical cross versus genotypical crosses. That's what I enjoy the most. But in the long run, you know, it's your horse. You cross it the way you want to cross it. We can advise you the best we can if you want us to advise you.
And Gerald, we are talking about Terry Bradshaw. And so some of our listeners out there are probably sitting there thinking, man, that sounds like a lot of fun. Number one, can you tell us when it is? And then number two, can you tell them how they are able to get into the ranch? It's not, if they just show up, they probably won't be let in, will they?
The sale is going to be October the 5th at 11 a.m. We are requesting everyone have a bidder's number to get into the sale. And people say, well, a bidder's number, everyone that's in this industry, we're so close knit, and you have to look at it as now we have a contact point. So we can reach out and say, hey, what could we do different, and how can we make the sale better if we want to do it next year? Don't look at it as a negative, well, I got to have a bidder's number. Look at it as a positive that we're going to go back and quiz ourselves on how to make it better for following years. But the bidders' numbers can all be arranged through Superior Livestock on their website. And that's a very, very simple project.
That is perfect. And a prerequisite of working with Terry Bradshaw, you have to be able to go long and actually catch the football. Is that true or not?
I don't run fast and I don't catch very well. When I played high school football, I was more catch the guy with the football or defend the quarterback. So
So basically just blocking and tackling is why you got hired, and that's probably the best thing anybody could do. We're talking to Gerald Jackson, equine manager at Terry Bradshaw Quarter Horses. He has a big sale coming up October 5th at 11 a.m. right there at their ranch. Hey, Gerald, we want to thank you for joining us. This has been absolutely great. I want to concentrate everybody to check out your website at terrybradshawqh.com, and we'll go from there. But as always, we want you to come back on board, and your lovely wife, Kate, if she's available.
Absolutely. I appreciate y'all having me.
Well, this has been actually great. Hey, Merle, I want everybody to stick around for more Better Horses. We got coming up Best of the Midwest coming your way. You're going to hear more about this. My name's Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And we'll be right back right after these messages.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dylan Luter, a specialist in equine performance medicine at the Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center. Our new service focuses on lameness diagnosis, advanced imaging, physical therapy, and regenerative medicine for horses with injuries preventing them from performing at their best. We can treat a variety of conditions and design a customized rehabilitation plan to meet the needs of each client and their horse. Visit us at ksvhc.org, the Veterinary Health Center, to discover, to teach, to heal.
Hi, I'm Tommy with Heritage Tractor. Whether you're looking to maintain your yard or your whole ranching operation, Heritage Tractor has John Deere mower and tractor packages that make work fly by. With a variety of horsepower and attachment configurations, we have a package to best fit your needs and budget. To learn more about these exclusive packages, visit us in store or online at heritagetractor.com.
Legendary products, extraordinary service. That's our heritage.
It's Established in 1956, the Pinto Horse Association of America was formed to welcome all types of equines and maintain their show records and pedigrees. PTHA currently has over 88,000 members with 157,000 registered pintos. There are currently 3 separate registries: the Color Registry, the Solid Registry, and the Long Ear Registry. We welcome all levels of competition within a family-friendly environment. Become a member, register, and add value to your horse. For more information, check out the website pintoworld.com.
Get quality you can stand on. Hoof Grip is the proprietary formula that provides shock absorption for your animals with no ice buildup, slipping, cracking, or sogginess, making it the safest, most comfortable, and maintenance-free flooring on the market. Hoof Grip installs quickly and easily over existing surfaces, is easy to clean, and withstands extreme heat or cold. From vet offices to barns, wash racks to trailers and more. Visit hoofgrip.com to find a dealer in your area today.
We're here for the hardworking, the resilient. We're for the people who measure their days by what needs to get done, not by hours. Where kids learn responsibility at a young age and generations work side by side. Where work doesn't pause for holidays or bad weather. It just gets harder. Where value and hard work means more than the clothes you wear. We're Kleinschmidt's Western Store, Higginsville, Missouri.
It's time to go with United Mosquito and Fly Control's premier fly system for fly control in your barn, providing relief for horses from the stress of fighting flies, and also makes the barn more pleasant for everyone in the barn. Easy, effective, and safe. With United Mosquito and Fly Control, we provide a full service. You as the barn owner don't have to do anything. We go everywhere and take care of everything with our friendly fast service. Call today at 913-558-3814 or email Paul at unitedmosquito.com.
And welcome back to Better Horses. I'm your host, Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And you know, the one great thing about having a horse show about equine is that there's no lack of topics that we can get into. I mean, we hitting the whole range here.
Well, and our listeners know anything could be coming up next. So I think we prepared them for that.
Okay, coming up, I am excited about this guy. This guy is truly an entrepreneur. He's done a lot of things throughout his career, and we're going to highlight first some of the things that he's done. But you know what? One of the great things that I get a kick out of is this guy, Jim Mueller, has been a television host and executive producer over there at the American Outdoorsman. And Merle, if you didn't know this was like a really great show. He's done it for over 7 years. The show's been going on for over 25, top quality hunting and fishing programming. But then he went ahead and he got the bug, and we got into the equine industry. And I am excited to have him over here because we're going to talk about his ranch at Whiskey Ranch. It's a cow-calf operation, but more importantly, he's going to have a quarter horse sale, and we're also going to be talking about a special team sorting program that he's going to be involved in. Everyone, I want you to get ready. And Jim Mueller, welcome to Better Horses. Hello, Jim.
Thanks, gentlemen. Appreciate you having me on today. And on behalf of the whole equine industry, we sure appreciate everything you guys do with Better Horses, making our industry stronger and better every day.
You know, we just absolutely love this topic, but more importantly, hey, you have got the bug that all of us had with you. Had a very successful career with you and your brother, but I know you've got Whiskey Ranch. It's a cow-calf operation. Can you just touch base on that real quickly and what you're doing over there in South Kansas City?
We do. We run about 400 head of mamas just south of Kansas City, and on our main ranch, which is Whiskey Ranch, and then down south, both in Arkansas and Oklahoma, we lease another 15,000 acres and run another 1,200, 1,400 pairs down there. And we've got a really nice operation. Got some great staff taking care of these mamas and babies every day. And as you guys know, the cattle market is absolutely on fire. We're excited to be in the cattle business right now.
You know what else I love? Yeah, it's really great for the cattle industry. I love the fact that you partnered with the American Royal and you put together a program. I think that's going to be coming out. I've seen it once last year. I get to see it again. It's called the Best of the Midwest Quarter Horse Sale, and that's coming up September 13th. Walk me through this. This is something that you're really involved in.
We are. We actually promote the show, and Whiskey Ranch will be featuring a few of the horses, but we went out and procured 50 of the best ranch and family horses the Midwest has to offer. We've got some fantastic professional trainers bringing their best stock in. It is a auction format, both in person and online with CCI. We're going to start with a preview Friday, September 13th at the famed American Royal there. We'll get started at 2:30, show off each one of these beautiful animals, and then the auction will kick off about 6:30. And we're expecting a great crowd, and we're both online and in person, and we're hoping to sell 50 great ranch and family horses.
And Merle and I were looking at your website, and for those who have not gone there, it's the MidwestHorseSale.com. You do have a high quality selection of quarter horses that are going to be up for auction out there. But you've gone out there and you've grabbed a lot of great trainers, and these are just not things right out of the pastures. These guys have gone through a lot of training.
Well, and we go through a process where, all these are curated. We've got lots and lots and lots of people that submit horses. We pick the best 50 that we think fit the buyers that are coming to this, whether you're a professional cowboy that need a ranch-ready roping horse, you're in the ring for, ranch trail or ranch riding or cutting or reining. We've got horses for you. And then we've got probably over half of these are just wonderful family horses, safe for anybody in the family. We've got some beautiful draft cross this year. And then we've got our special pony selection. There's 3 wonderful ponies, and we looked at a lot of ponies and picked the 3 best, but we've got a great pony selection in here to sale this year as well.
And just to remind everybody, that's going to be September 13th, which will be on a Friday. You're going to keep this going with something called the Ranch Legends Competition. And this is going to be a 4-man team sorting contest. Kind of walk me through how you got this going and what's going to be involved.
It's we've got a equine packed weekend there at the American Royal. So on the 14th and 15th, right after the sale, we have the Western Ranch sorting, which is 2-man team, traditional pen to pen sorting. We've got 9 classes from, very, very beginners to professionals will be ranch sorting over those 2 days. And in the middle of this, we have a new competition called the Ranch Legends. So this is a 4-man team that have to go the length of an arena. There'll be 10 pairs, cow-calf pairs, that the calves will be numbered. That 4-man team has to keep all the cows on one side and in order, mug those calves, run them down the other end of the arena, put them in a pen, and then go get the next numbered calf. It should be pretty Western and a lot of fun. And we've got some great teams coming from around the Midwest, and it's a first of its kind competition. And we're going to see some real cowboys doing what they do every day.
That's really interesting, Jim. I judge a lot and I judge the sorting, and so I'm used to that, but it's kind of an interesting twist with the mama cows in there too. So that should be fun to watch.
And these are all horn cows too. So it could get a little Western.
I'm always interested what makes a guy sit around and think up something like that? Like when you're just sitting around thinking, hey, that'd be a good idea. How'd you come up with that?
At our branding lab, we do a big annual branding at both the Oklahoma ranches as well as the Missouri ranch. And me and a whole bunch of cowboys, most of those guys are on a ranch rodeo teams. And we were talking about why they don't get into traditional pen to pen ranch sorting. And we talked about, how could we add a game that would get some of those WRCA guys involved and, more of the professional cowboys. And we came up with this because this is, in the field, this is what we're doing every day out on the ranch. So this is something that these guys practice a lot, and it should be a lot of fun. So we're going to have a mix of some pro cowboys, some WRCA teams, and some professional sorters. So we're going to have a wide variety of guys, and everybody will approach this competition a little differently.
If you just joined us, we're talking to Jim Mueller at the Whiskey Ranch Horse and Cattle cow-calf operation. He's putting the best of the Midwest horse sale. But Jim, this Ranch Legends competition, now, if since you and I are both entrepreneurs, this is something you could probably take across the country. Does that come to mind?
Yeah, we're sure hoping to. We're going to see how this first one goes, and then it's we've got some bigger plans in the works, but really excited to get this first one off the ground and make sure nobody gets hurt and everybody has a good time. And it should be a ton of fun with some great cowboys having a friendly competition.
I think before we let you go, I want to talk about go back to your auction again, which is going to happen September 13th. A lot of people can come prior to this auction and actually look at these horses, possibly get on them, possibly talk to the trainers, and that begins that afternoon. This is something that you're pretty proud of, is about bringing these trainers and these horses that are coming in.
We sure are, and like I said, we're going to have trainers. I think there's 6 or 7 states guys are bringing horses from, and some really quality stock. We went through hundreds of horses to find these kind of 50 best to bring to you. And after the preview, we have a meet and greet, test rides. You know, we let potential buyers get in there and really interact with these horses. And we also encourage you to go to MidwestHorseSale.com, pick out 1 or 2 that you're really interested in, and pick up the phone and call the trainers. Talk to them about these horses. Get some additional private videos. You can pick up the phone and get on FaceTime with these guys, and they'll take you on a trail ride out on their ranch, and you can really get to know these horses before the sale ever starts. And we really encourage that, and the trainers like that as well.
You know, Jim, Ed, and I, and Susie and Kelly, we were all there last year, and it was really a neat event. But I'm sure there's got to be some kind of, challenging circumstances. What's your biggest challenge in putting on an event like that?
Well, it's stressful. Luckily, I've got a fantastic partner, my mini-me, which is my daughter, Reagan. And, just getting the best horses picked and then putting them in a catalog order that only about half the people are mad at you about. So we have a fun banter with our consigners, many of which we know, but getting all these quality horses in, getting their videos in, their pictures, making sure that everybody's going to be there, have their horses ready. That's really the key. Once the sale goes on, then it's up to the buyers and up to the trainers to perform in the ring. But getting all those horses together and the right horses is the real challenge.
Jim, we want to thank you for joining us. And again, if you missed it, it's the Best of the Midwest Quarter Horse Sale. It's going to happen September 13th. And this will be at the American Royal. And as Jim said, it's going to be a whole weekend of fun equine events. And like he said, and he promised you, and I agree with him, it's going to get a little ranchy out there. And so if you want to see some talented cowboys, and if you're just getting started in sorting, this might be the time for you to get up and saddle up your horse and get down there. Jim, I want to thank you for joining us. And if they want to get into contact, can you give us that website again?
Sure, MidwestHorseSale.com. And you could also visit us at Western Ranch Sorting or Best of the Midwest on Facebook. We got real active social pages out there, daily updates, different horses and new videos coming in every day. So I'd encourage everybody to go to Facebook if you got a Facebook account and look up Best of the Midwest and Western Ranch Sorting.
If you're looking for a forever horse, this is where to go. It's the Midwest Quarter Horse Sale. Jim, I want to thank you for joining us. And if we need another co-host or another host, we'll be sure and give you a shout because I think you did a great job.
Thanks, gentlemen. I really appreciate everything you do for the industry.
And we appreciate Jim joining us for this. Merle, this is really fun because I see a lot of guys looking for horses. They want to get them vetted out. These horses are vet checked. They are high-level trainers and really something to go take a look at.
Well, I'm excited to go watch that Ranch Legends deal. That sounds like a lot of fun just to go sit around and watch people try to chase cows.
You have to mark it on your calendar. For everybody out there listening, I am trying to get Merle to do this with me, sorting. He's kind of like waffling a little bit, so I'll keep you updated on how we do with that. So
show up, and then we'll see if I made it.
that's the way to get more people to come to this event. So, but you know what? I got to tell you, I appreciate everybody joining in. And if you want to hear this radio show again, I want to let everybody know we do have a podcast. Just go into wherever you get your podcast, type in Better Horses, and you can see all of our events or all of our shows and all of our encore performances.
And don't forget to check out our paper coming out 5 times a year. And if you'd like, we'd even send it right to your mailbox.
And also our TV show. We like to appreciate the RFD, the Cowboy Channel, and streaming on Equus TV. And more importantly, we got some really good shows coming your way. And with special thanks from the team from behind the scenes, I'd like to take time out to thank Brianna Johnson for our radio show and Kelly Creech, naturally, for our TV show. And more importantly, Merle, we got to thank our sponsors.
Sure. We couldn't do it without them.
So with that said, you know what? We mentioned the newspaper. Thank you for mentioning that, Merle. But there is a page within our summer edition called the Cowboys Code of Conduct. And you know what? Roy Rogers, Gene Autry, and Hopalong Cassidy always talks about ways Cowboys should be neat and clean, courteous and polite, and obey your parents. So more importantly, I think that's where our ending of our show always comes in. We want you all to be good buckaroos and buckarettes. Mind your mom and dads out there. Be brave, but don't take any chances. Until next time, I'm Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
Happy trails, and always ride for the brand.